Hi, my name is Jackson Blondick, and welcome to Hemlane's Real Estate Management Academy, where we provide quick tips for landlords and managers with rental properties. In this video, we will discuss rental prices and how you should determine and adjust monthly rent rates. This is a simple calculation when you have quality information, and yet landlords and managers often incorrectly price their rental property. The key here is staying as objective as possible. Oftentimes, landlords and real estate investors put a premium on rental features, like the type of tile on the kitchen counter or some other small aesthetic feature that maybe your renters don't quite have the same appreciation for. If your property has been on the market for anywhere close to 30 days, then listen up and let's fix this. I have in store today a simple 4-part process to ensure you are pricing your rental correctly, advertising, and making the most of your investment. Part 1. Initial rental pricing. There are 3 approaches to calculate the rental rate. Use a combination when possible. Start with market analysis. Zillow is a great tool to look at current listings. Here's a link to their website. All you gotta do is type in your rental property's address, filter for the same number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. Then look around for other similar rentals in the area. Check the comparable properties to see their listing price. This analysis puts you in the shoes of the tenant, understanding what their options are. When your property is listed higher than the comparable rentals, tenants are more likely to view surrounding rental properties first, even if you have those marble countertops in there. Secondly, do some research on the historical rent rates for your rental. Take the prior rental rate from the past tenant signing date and apply your county or city annual growth rate. You should arrive at a value that combines historical trends with the current value. Lastly, utilize the data-driven approach. The internet is a useful resource in determining rent. Online tools such as Rentometer use large amounts of data to determine rental prices. While these tools are not always the most accurate, they can provide a baseline to compare with our other 2 approaches. Now, there are a few other factors that will affect your price adjustments. One, quite obviously, being the type of property. Luxury properties tend to stay on the market for longer, as there are fewer tenants who can afford these rentals. Another is aesthetics. Renovations, remodels, and upgrades can actually have a huge impact. You want your property to stand out against other properties in the neighborhood. Neighborhood has obvious impacts on price, but some less obvious ones too. Your rental may be in an area without zoning restrictions, or where the next street over has widely different pricing. In these cases, adjust the rental price based on true comparable properties. Lastly, take in consideration seasonality. As a rule of thumb, winter months tend to be the worst time to advertise your rental, especially in areas where the climate is snowy and cold. In areas with single-family homes, this statement is even more prevalent, since parents prefer not to move while school is in session. Part 2. Factors affecting demand. Market rates and trends will provide good indications for the rental range. Now let's talk about the demand and the desirability of your rental. You can start by asking yourself if your advertising is too restrictive. The goal is to attract as many qualified tenants as possible. If you have a bunch of restrictions on who can qualify, then you are narrowing down the number of applicants. Consider pets, for example. Many large cities are boasting 50% of residents own pets. Do you want to restrict 50% of the market via a strict no pet policy? There's more about pets regarding rentals at the bottom of this video. Or consider furniture. Am I offering a long-term furnished rental when the majority of tenants are looking for an unfurnished place? Consider your term. Do you have an awkward lease duration, such as 6 months or 3 years? Most tenants are accustomed to a standard 12-month lease. If you want to rent for longer than 12 months, we recommend negotiating the lease duration after you have qualified applicants. One of your objective criteria can be that the tenant willing to sign a longer lease gets accepted over the tenants with a shorter duration preference. Another consideration is the security deposit. Is this higher than deposits from others on the market? In general, it is important to check your lease against leases of other professional managers. If your requirements are too strict, like all the tenants must move out if one moves out, or you need a credit score of over 750, then you may have a difficult time converting applicants to tenants. Once you've ensured your advertising is not too restrictive, it's time to evaluate the quality of your advertising. Check out this article, Secrets to Advertising Your Rental, for some tips. It's worth your time. In advertising, the channels you advertise with and your pitch are key. Are you advertising on only a couple of listing websites, rather than leveraging the best software that markets to the largest rental listing websites? Aim to advertise your rental on at least 5 top rental listing websites. One of these websites should be Zillow, since they generate more traffic than most listing websites. The next thing is your pitch. The photos and content you put out there dictate your rental's appeal. It takes only the initial setup of quality photos to succeed when your property is ready for the next turnover. Lastly, be professional about responding to tenants. Tenants expect professionalism and a nearly immediate response to set up showings. Part 3, adjusting your monthly rent. There are very few cases where your property should be on the market for over 30 days. If you're finding that your rental has been on the market for longer than a month, more often than not, it's the price. And the issue is not that your price is too low. Most landlords think that their property is actually worth more than it is. If it's not the price, loosen your criteria. How can you say no to a cute little dog anyways? And definitely make sure you are advertising in the right places, which is everywhere. These advertisements need to be up to date. Lastly, part 4. Let's talk about the consequences of vacancy. When your rental surpasses 30 days on market, which simply refers to how long your rental has been listed, not only is this very stressful, but you are losing money indirectly. Trying to rent your listing for that extra dollar may be a financially poor decision. Listing at or below market can actually generate more cash flow because of reduced vacancy. And most investors and managers do not perform calculation on the opportunity cost of vacancy. For example, if you list your property at $5,000 per month, but it remains on the market for 3 months, you are receiving $0 for that time period. Another option would be to drop the price to, say, $4,800 a month. While you would receive $200 less per month than normal, you still make $14,400 over the same 3 months rather than nothing, and you only lose out on $1,800 for a 1-year period. That $200 per month difference isn't too big of a deal when it's making you over $12,000 in profit by avoiding vacancy. Now you can finally understand why you have too much or too little demand with your rental property. It is up to you to recognize a shifting market and compromise as needed to fill your rental unit. Isn't it nice having all this technology to help you price your rentals correctly? As always, thank you all so much for listening. I included a link to the Hemlane Academy at the bottom of this video. You can check us out for quick tips and much more on real estate management. I'll see you next time.